Welcome back to the channel. In today's video, we will read a story about a man whose wife cheated on him with his stepfather so she could get the $1 million mansion, but little did she know that mansion belonged to the poster. This is a two-part story, so be sure to like and subscribe for part 2. Let's get started. I'm in such a huge mess that I feel so embarrassed to even admit my situation. With embarrassment, I mean core humiliation. How else do I say that my wife of 7 years is cheating on me with my stepdad? Yes, my wife is having an affair with my mother's husband. I'm 38 male, married for 7 years to Sia, 38 female. Our relationship has been very normal, with our share of ups and downs. The downs were mostly because my wife felt I was too attached to my mom. She called me a mama's boy. Now, I'm not going to defend it because my mom is no longer alive. She passed away 2 years back. I'm glad that I was able to love her the way she deserved. She single-handedly raised me and gave me the best of everything she could and beyond her means. My mom was a single parent to me until 10 years ago when she met Andrew. Andrew was a divorcee in his early 50s when he married my mom. I don't know what my mom saw in Andrew that made her marry him after being single for 2 decades. Andrew was non-existent to me when my mom was here. I used to visit her twice a week, but my conversation with Andrew didn't go beyond formal greetings and a smile. I don't know why I was just not able to accept him as a father figure, but I never showed this to my mom. I was happy that she got a companion in her last days of life, and after her demise, there was no question of Andrew's existence in my life. I didn't even meet him after my mom's funeral, though he was still living in my mom's house. He became a matter of concern for me when I found him sitting with my wife, his arms wrapped around hers. It wasn't a friendly or elderly embrace. I didn't like the body language, or rather, I should say their chemistry. It was also weird because of our family dynamics. Like I mentioned, I was never close to my stepdad, and neither was Saya close to him, so seeing such comfort between them was very uncomfortable for me. I was in my car, and they were sitting in a roadside cafe. I had left the office early that day to meet one of my old friends. The place where I saw them is far from my house and even my office. I usually don't go to that area. I went to meet my friend, but I was distracted most of the time. My friend kept asking me if something was bothering me. I just said it was about impending work. How do I tell him what I saw on my way? I went home and confronted Sia, telling her that I saw her with Andrew. She turned pale and was lost for words. Then she was like, "Yeah, I met him for lunch." I asked her why all of a sudden, and she said she bumped into him and then he offered to have lunch together. The way I was staring at her, she understood that I had seen something I shouldn't have. She said, "Your stepdad was really upset about losing your mom. I was trying to console him. The poor old man is lonely and has no one to talk to. That's why he held my hands while expressing his grief." You see, I didn't tell her I saw him holding her hands. I saw him wrapping his arms around her, and the way they were talking, it didn't look like he was sad or mourning my mom. They were not laughing, but their body language was flirtatious. I didn't say anything, but I didn't buy her excuse. I decided to sleuth the matter by myself before any further confrontation. Sia is a nail artist at a beauty salon, so she works on weekends and is off on weekdays. It was never a matter of concern between us until recently when Saya used to be too occupied with her work. We were having quite regular fights on this matter and she was not giving time to our relationship. She was fighting back that I was being needy after my mom's demise. She said that earlier I used to visit my mom twice a week, so Sia's absence didn't bother me so much. She is wrong. I used to visit my mother on weekends, and on those days when Kia had work, I always ensured to return home on time to spend time with her. Previously, she used to fight that I was a mama's boy, and now she was saying that I was needy. While all this was going on, I saw her with my stepdad, and that added to my fury. A few weeks later, it was Thanksgiving. Yes, I'm talking about the last Thanksgiving which just went by. She insisted that we invite Andrew. I was surprised at her direct suggestion. She said Andrew was living alone and had no one, so as an extended family, we should invite him. I told her that she never invited him when my mom was alive, and she was like, "Yeah, because they had each other to celebrate the evening, and now that poor old man is alone." Ultimately, I gave in. I actually wanted to see how they behaved in front of me. I won't say they were normal because now that I know the truth, but they didn't do anything that would have caused suspicion if I didn't know the truth. I was silent for most of the time. I was never fond of him, and my suspicions about him made me resent his presence. I felt he also understood that I did not like it. Overall, it was an awkward dinner, with both of us eating silently and Kaya trying to break the silence with some stupid topic, only to get a fake smile from both of us. It was getting very difficult for me to live with a heavy heart, so I decided to come up with a plan. I thought of checking her phone, but that didn't work because her phone was locked, and I didn't want to get into the details of asking for the password because she would get alert. So I came up with another plan. I told Sia that I would be going out of town for a couple of days for work purposes. On the supposed day, I left home early and went to my office normally, but before that I had planted a GPS device in Sia's car and I was tracking it remotely. Just before the afternoon, she drove to Andrew's place. I wanted to catch her red-handed, but I was worried that what if I showed up and they were just sitting and chatting? It would be like making a fool of myself. So I asked my friend Keith for help. I told him about my suspicions and requested him to visit Andrew. It was a very safe plan. I told him to record them if he found them doing anything outrageous. The house lock was password protected, and I was just hoping that Andrew didn't change the PIN. Keith was worried that Andrew might suspect him of sneaking into the house. I told him to just say that the front door was open and he was there just to check on him. The main door didn't open. In the living area, there was a small passage that led to the living room, so there was no one that would suspect him of unlocking the door. After a lot of convincing, he agreed. He went inside but couldn't find them in the hallway. He then peeped inside the bedroom with his phone camera switched on. He had kept the phone in his shirt pocket with a camera popping out so that they didn't suspect him. He saw that the two were without clothes cuddling each other. He then cried, "Sorry," and left the house before any of them realized. Andrew followed him outside, asking him what he was doing there. Keith said that he was just there to check on him, but it's okay. He would come later. He sat inside his car and drove off before any confrontation with Andrew or Saya. But I tell you, my friend is so stupid. Instead of opening the back camera, his front camera was open the whole time, and nothing got recorded except Andrew and Sia yelling at Keith's sudden appearance. Anyway, I got the confirmation that I needed. I had already packed 2 sets of clothes and my toiletries before leaving the house that day, so I went to Keith's house. His wife was out of town at her parents' house, so he insisted that I stay with him until all this was sorted. Saya knows that Keith would have told me the truth. She messaged me asking when I would come home. I didn't reply. Yes, I ghosted her. She has been blowing up my phone with her endless texts and calls. She thinks I'm out of town for work. It happened 4 days ago. I have contacted a lawyer virtually. I don't want to see her face ever again. I'll serve her with divorce papers and get her evicted from my house. And that's the end of part 1 of this story. What do you guys think about this situation? Do you have anything to say to the poster? What would you do if you were in the poster's shoes? Let me know in the comment section below. And I will see you guys on the next video.